on the Book of Faces in MLO Network. This is part of the Survivor Series. Today,
I gotta get you a new saying than the Book of Faces.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, I guess that does sound old. I mean, I did turn
You're 50,
for
half century,
and all this kind of stuff. I can't even remember what generation I'm in anymore. But ultimately, today is not about that. Today is about lead generation, lead follow-up, what's going on with leads that perhaps are a little colder. And this is something that you really, really, truly geek out on, TJ. I know on calls past, I've brought up the fact that you don't really produce as much anymore because companies pay you so much money to help them with their marketing and help them with lead generation that you don't really have to produce because you become more of a full-time marketer in the loan officer space, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I love it. It's learning how to do lead generation has been just a big part of my. Hopefully, my power just fell off my desk, so hopefully the computer doesn't crash here. But my story for years. I did come from a marketing background, got into this business during the subprime days, got really good at direct mail, did marketing for large call centers for a long time. Eventually, started doing Facebook ads back in 2012, I think it was 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. 2017, after I left my call center job and decided I was going to be back to being a full-time originating loan officer, and went to work for a company that did I was an in-house lender for a local real estate company. Loved it, didn't get paid crap. Let Michael Fisher recruit me somewhere, thinking I was going to bring all these agents with me and they're all going to love me. And turns out they were all loyal to the real estate company, not TJ Barker. So I had to find a way to go out there and build relationships. And I love the core, and I love Xenix, and I love marketing animals and all this type of stuff. But the fact is, Fish, how many times you heard me say it? I'm not going to make the cold calls. So I had to find ways to differentiate myself. And that's where lead generation came into play, which kind of parlayed into me helping other loan officers. And then eventually came into where I stand today, which is having the opportunity really to work with at any time. Usually I have 1 to 2 big quote unquote companies that I work with, accounts, and then, anywhere from, 15 to 20 to 30, loan officers at any time through Leads Academy. But that gives me a really unique perspective on what's going on and what works, and how some people are having a lot of success with lead generation. Some people are really struggling with lead generation. And when we come into markets like we are today, 2 years ago, barely anyone messaged me, right? Because leads were just falling out of the sky. Today, I probably get 3 to 5 to 7 messages every single day, or you get them, and forward them to me, where people are asking like, hey, what's working? How do I get leads? What do I do with leads? And that's kind of why we chose or thought we would have this call today. Let's kind of talk about what's going on out there.
I get loan officers that either come to me, or I'm reading threads, or I'm hearing through other loan officers that say, I'm a great loan officer, but can someone just market for me? Just put me in front of the customer. So
right.
I always kind of go back and forth on, well, is that really a great loan officer or not? Is that part of your job as a loan officer to be a marketer? And
well, to me, part of our job as a loan officer is, we're salespeople, right? Ultimately, that's what we are. We're salespeople. We can hire, and so many super successful people hire that loan partner that is a guideline expert, that person that can work magic with AUS, right? You're like, how the hell did you get this person approved? Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, I added $38 to their, whatever, right? It's amazing. But our job is to prospect. We're salespeople.
Right. So some people seem to think that if they have those skills, that makes them the best loan officer. And it's well, no matter what you call it, at some point, there's marketing, and then there's figuring out the deals. And if you can combine the two, then you can ask for a higher commission. You can ask for more pay. You're going to get a bigger piece of the pie. But if you don't know how to bring the customer to you, maybe you have to sit in a cubicle at a call center where they're doing all the marketing, and then you're going to get a very small piece of the pie in the end. So, it's just this concept of, if you want a big piece of the pie, if you want a fat check, you kind of have to bring the customer to the company, because there's a ton of value in bringing that customer in with a transaction structured correctly. You bring a bunch of bad deals and nobody's going to get paid. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the reason I've said on many calls why most of us get paid fairly well as loan officers, is because we have that component of knowing how to do a deal, but also knowing how to market. We're starting to combine very complex jobs to the point where not everybody can do what we do, and bring the business in at the same time. So, at a certain level, you start compartmentalizing the marketing. You become so good at it that, like you said, you can hire other people, other loan officers, other loan officer assistants, and what have you. And I know a lot of folks that follow you or reach out to me and talk more about what's going on. They kind of want to do this for their branch or for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people. And they want to get a system in place. You take this the direction that you want to take it, but what kind of folks are actually ready to do that, and what kind of folks probably should stay away from that? Because I think there's some people that come into the business that are brand new and they reach out to you and they want to go down all these paths and systems. They didn't even know loan guidelines. They don't even know like one realtor. But then there's people.
Actually, it's funny though, you say that, but some of them are the best.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can come in and I think what's different to me and you and what we do here on MLO Net compared to a lot of the internet gurus is we never sugarcoat what lead generation is. Right. We never put up like these fake numbers that are like, hey, well, if you get 100 leads, you're going to get 10 closings out of them. Right. We'd never send out the message like, hey, Michael, can you handle an extra 5 closings this month? All right, type of thing. So, and our focus has always been about leveraging lead generation for short-term ROI by using that to build relationships, while you have your campaigns and your daily prospecting structures in place to turn those leads into that long-term ROI. And here's the thing, if you work the leads, they will absolutely convert for you. And that's where sometimes the newer guy or lady is excellent at that, because they're like, hey, especially someone who came out, they're like, I came from a call center. I am so used to making 100 calls a day type of thing. They're like, oh, awesome. Like, here, let's plug you in, and you can start doing this, and you can start making calls and start following up and converting. Zach Sullivan, obviously, Zach, I work for him. His close, I don't know what the number is. Last I checked, it was like 150 million or 200 million over the last 5 years, specifically from Facebook ads, like not just from Facebook ads. Him and I were chatting. He's like, we were with celebrities, so I know what happened with that. So we converted, we found a new bank, we're doing all this stuff. He's managing team in the last 3 weeks. In addition to bringing on about 30 real estate agents by leveraging lead generation, do it. He's also back working leads himself. And every time you hear a ding in the background here, that's him, because he's looking at his system right now and he's messaging me. He's like, hey, did you see this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? So he's constantly in front of the system and replying to people and working these leads. So
those leads basically become part of his value proposition to the agents that he's
twofold, right? It's a value proposition for threefold, really. If you think about it, it's a great way to prospect and bring new agents on, right? 2, it is that value proposition is always able to refer that out to an agent, even if it's not pre-approved. So many times we get blinders on that it has to be a pre-approved lead. It doesn't. It's a conversation. I'm telling you right now, you send 3 or 4 people that say they're interested in buying a home for $300,000 in Novi, Michigan. Did I say it right?
It's so funny. We had a Michigan mortgage lenders event this week. We had Kyle Draper come up from Texas, and nobody coached him on it. And he jumps right in the presentation. He's, hey, welcome Novi, in the whole oh my gosh.
See, it's only taken me 7 years, but I got it. Right. But, and here's their name and here's their phone number. And they say, look, I haven't been able to get a pre-approval yet. I asked them a few qualifying questions. They said their credit score is about 640. They do have, a job. But, they're just looking for someone who or they're 6 to 9 months away, but they're looking for someone who can take good care of them and is willing to have that first conversation with them. And if they have a question in 3 months, they'll answer the phone. Fisher, can I count on you? Is that fair? Can I send that to you? And now you have that reason to do your follow-up. And again, so your long-term sequence is in play here. You're staying in front of this lead, provide them with good content, touching base with them every couple months, automation, whatever it is, get them into your local Facebook group. But you've also made a relationship with an agent. And that agent, what do they say? Man, I've been working with my lender for 10 years. They've never sent me anybody. And now you have that ability to go ahead and have that conversation with them, to have that Monday follow-up call.
That's one thing I tell all these LOs that are out there that are saying like, oh, I got these good relationships. If a LO comes in and, they start trying to work with the same realtor that you're working with, and they agree to, pay them a ton of money for marketing and start lead generation with them and start giving them, more opportunities and treat it more as a partnership, it's going to be hard for you to compete. I mean, you can lose some of your better agent relationships when you're not treating that relationship with an agent as a partner. Now, does it mean that with every single agent that you're calling on that you have to spend money marketing or you have to give them leads? No, not at all. But just keep the thought process out there that, being a partner to that agent and having more than just like, I got great rates and I know what I'm doing and I close quick, because at some point that becomes just the status quo. And yeah, there's plenty of not so good lenders out there, but as the industry pares back and some of the people that aren't so good get out because they can't hack it in this tougher market, we all say, yeah, we want them to go. Sure, we do. But if there's less transactions and less loan officers, the ones that are left are going to be the ones that are really good and tough anyways. And so, at some point, knowing the product, knowing how to close on time becomes normal. And you got to have something more than that. I find that the agents I really want to work with, all the other loan officers that are calling on them are also really good and they have good rates and they close on time and they're good local brands and all that kind of stuff. So, it's having something that stands out, man.
Well, like I said, it's, I just had this conversation so much recently. And a lot of it goes back to that initial webinar we did with Carl and Cindy and Kai and Scott. And the one thing that always sticks out to me, and different people have different opinions in different markets, etc. But Kai said, well, if you want to go ahead and close 100 deals this year, you're going to need to have 50 agents. Right. I think that's a safe number to work with. Right there. It's a safe number to work with. But man, what would it be like to have to go out and go and just get 50 agents by saying, yeah, I got great rates in today's environment? Like, what is a great rate?
So, yeah, and it's fantastic because a lot of that analogy, a lot of LOs, I dive in, I start talking to them and I find out they have 5 agents and they're wondering why they're closing 1 deal a month.
Right.
And the math is the same. I'm like, well, these agents don't have as much to give you anymore. And maybe you only get 2 or 3 deals from them this whole year. So if you've only got 5, you're only going to close 10 or 15 deals. You better get some more of them or come up with some consumer direct stuff and some different avenues of business.
Let me show this to you. And I'm not going to get into all this, but these are different agents that we're prospecting right now, just based off of not even ads, but posts that we're doing in different Facebook groups. Right. It's something as simple as that. And now our value add is always lead generation. So that's what we did. It could be something else, but it can't be, man, I got this new Maryland mortgage program that's been around for 20 years. Well, that's exciting, right? It's what are you doing? Because these agents are looking for people. Again, they're 3 months behind on their leased Mercedes right now. Right. So they're looking for someone that's going to help them bring that additional business in as well.
Unless you're out there saying like, hey, my specialty is taking people that barely qualify and have a terrible credit score. You'll get a lot of conversations, but you're only going to end up with bottom feeder agents and bottom feeder clients, and it's going to be a rough road.
Well, but it could be anything to Fish. Look, I know a young lady down in Florida who is connected with a group that does I hate to use the term credit repair. It's like credit repair and financial makeovers and yeah, and essentially it's like no one ever says it, but to me it's multi-level marketing, right? Type of thing. But her thing is her value add and the way she connects with different agents is she goes in and she talks to agents to say, look, I don't want your people that are pre-approved. I want your people that were turned down. Send them to me. And she actually takes the time and gets them in, and then she winds up making money every time someone, joins her downline or whatever you want to call it, right? Type of thing. Look, they have all this different terminology for it. I still look at it as multi-level marketing. So, but so in addition, now she's making money. She's getting all these people into, call it credit repair, financial makeover, get mortgage ready. But she's also got these agents who are grateful because they're like, wow, everyone else is just like, no. And you're saying, give me this stuff, give me an opportunity with this stuff. Again, so she found some way to make some additional money off this, which is brilliant to me. But she's also found this different approach to building a relationship. And now after a month or two, how easy is it to say, hey, Fish, look, we took care of these 4 people. We got them set up. We're nurturing them. It'll be 6 to 9 to 12 months before they come back out, but we want to stay on top of them. I'd love to show you how my team and I do business. Can I count on you? Give me an opportunity with your next person who needs to get pre-approved to go under contract in the next 30 days. Again, it's different than I'd like to take you out for a cup of coffee and find out what makes you so great type of thing. We talk about that all the time. You're doing the same thing. You're just approaching it a little bit differently with this. So it doesn't just always have to be a paid lead. Again, lots of people come to us to ask us, how do we get paid leads? But to me, to you, and some of our most successful people, I just want to reiterate, you got to look at the leads as currency. How can you leverage this currency to not just generate business in the long term? Because in 2013, 14, and 15, Fish, you and I could run some long form ads, put $300, $400 out, have a pre-approved deal, and know that we're going to get paid in 30 to 60 days, right? We know that we can get that pre-approval under contract and closed, and we could get paid within 30 to 60 days. That's not happening today. Our markets, just the inventory is not there to be able to do that. So how can you bring a lead in today and turn it into profit sooner rather than later, while also profiting later? Right? Does that make sense? Kind of how I explain that, Fish?
100%. Now, I think when I was typing up what we were going to do today, we talked a little bit about, the difference between Facebook leads, versus like a more of an intent lead, like a Google lead, and
right,
what kind of strategies are out there to use those types of leads and ads, maybe your content, your page, your profile, all these kind of things related to Facebook. How do you pull that together and have some good practices to actually come up with an efficient system?
Yeah, so I think you have to have automation in place, right? You got to have some type of automation. I think that you need to run both concurrently. So again, it's balancing short-term and long-term.
So when you say concurrently, you're talking about like content.
You want to do your paid Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm still super bullish on Facebook and Instagram. So me, it provides the lowest cost lead, highest quantity of lead. I look at our numbers right here. Now, our contact rate is significantly less these days than it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. That's across the board. But our conversion rate, or someone that we status as interested, is still running about 44%. So if once we make contact by following kind of and when we talk about automation, we've got templates that we've done as far as questions go that we engage with people with. They're designed to engage with folks, and I'll give them to you. I'll go over them real quick. And then we move them into we status them as interest. The point. Biggest mistake I see when people start working a lead, again, I don't care if it's a Google, I don't care if it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even someone that's been referred to you. Right? Are you ready to get pre-approved? And I know we're all like, we need pre-approvals. We need pre-approvals. So sometimes it's just that instant reaction is, hey, Fish, can I get your W-2s? Please, God, for the love of God, what's your social security number, man? I got to pull your credit. But when we're engaging with people, one, you always want to engage with them on the channel if they respond to you with, whether it's a Facebook message, whether it's a text message, or it's a phone call, whether it's an email, right? Try to keep the channel consistent. From there, you want to ask simple questions really about their dream. Hey, we got your inquiry for a list of homes for sale for 123 Main Street for new down payment assistance program, right? Especially the down payment assistance, you want to be like, what's your credit score? But you just want to respond, awesome, it's great. Are there any specific locations that you have in mind? And do you have a budget in mind? They respond to that. Awesome. What are 2 to 3 features that are important to you? Beds, baths, etc. And I'm just reading them off our script in here. They respond, noted. Got that down here. One last question. Do you have a timeline in mind to buy? Now, this is the lead that we're referring out to an agent at this point, right? We've got what they initially inquired about. We've got a location that they're interested in, an approximate budget, a couple of different features, and an area. And then our final question is, hey, we have what we need. Are you available for a quick chat today or tomorrow?
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
But it's because we're not going in and asking these really in-depth questions. Like, and I even want to have that budget in mind kind of towards the end of it, but it's always worked for us. So I haven't moved it on there. But, if our engagement starts dropping, I would move that question down a little bit later on. And then finally would say, hey, have you been pre-approved? With that. And if they don't answer to that, we're still referring that lead out, right? Heck, if they give us 3 questions, we're still working that lead on there. Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal was to get all that information. But now, so anyway, so that's kind of your Facebook, Instagram style post. So you get a lot of those in. Let's say you're running leads at $3 per lead. You spend $300, you get 100 of those in there. You make contact with 40 of them. And if we're converting, 40% of those, that's what, just quick math, like 12, 13, 14, 15 people that you can refer out without a pre-approval, that you can leverage to build relationships, that you can post in your local Facebook groups with your agent, your agent groups. I guarantee you all have a for sale by owner that agents are in. You have a local, I need a realtor group. You have a local, we have a bunch of like title companies around here that, run groups for loan officers and real estate agents. You start posting that stuff in those groups, like, hey, I've got someone looking in Novi, looking for an agent that's going to take care of them, but be specific. Be like, they're 6 to 9 months out, but I'm looking for someone who's willing to talk to them today and help them start this journey. Who do I know they'll be interested? Now, how many people can you give that lead to, Fish?
Yeah, I mean,
you give it to one, but how many are going to inquire about it?
Right. It's like when you go into a local community group and you say, like, who's the best realtor? It's like
right.
172 realtors. But it's similar strategy like I would use in a situation like that is that you find those communities and groups, and now you are able to contact with and friend and have conversations with all the people that you maybe didn't know, right, that all of a sudden are commenting on that post.
Right. And now these are all prospects and now these are all leads.
Mm-hmm.
These are leads for people who can refer you business.
Yep.
And that's where, like I said, and there are a few, I mean, I know we're running long, but I'll try to wrap this up. It's just for me and for you and for everyone here at MLO, we just, for us, like when I see someone who's like, oh man, I just signed up for XYZ and it's $5,000 a month. And we're like, we get it. But right now, like there's free training here at MLO, how to generate leads, listing leads. We even have mortgage long form leads training in here. You can check out. just designed to help you build that traction on here. So I love leads. Leads absolutely still work. The one thing I'll tell everyone is leads work as long as you work them. The leads work as long as you work them. Every single person, not every single person, I'd say just about of the 500 plus people that we've worked with in Leads Academy over the, last, 5 or 6 years now, Fish. Very few of them have walked away being like, I didn't get what I paid for, right? Every single person's like, I got more than what I paid for. But leads, maybe leads aren't for me, which we get because they're not. So many people come in, they're ready to go, and they're like, wow, you mean I got to make phone calls every day? Well, yeah, right. You got to make phone calls. You got to follow up with text messages. These are important things to do. But lead generation absolutely 100% works. But in today's environment, you've got to find ways to leverage those leads. Keep saying it. Build business. What do you used to call it the 30-day money, right? How are you going to take that lead and turn it into 30-day money while you're waiting for that lead to actually turn into a closing and get paid? So
yeah, I mean, like the main image on your community is make your damn calls, right? So
right. Yeah,
it's kind of funny how all these programs end up having the same. We in Veteran Mortgage Hour, we say make your video, teach your class, but it's the same concept: is reach out and do your marketing work and your sales work and all that kind of stuff. And that's where a lot of the LOs are missing, is they're not doing the work in marketing or sales.
Yep.
I'm sitting here reading an MLO net post right now where somebody's saying like, I'm not used to marketing or selling. I'm used to sitting back in the background and just working on deals. And,
right.
If you're watching this today and you're sitting there saying, yeah, that's me, I'm great at working on deals, but I have no deals to work on. Just shift your mind. Like you have to, if you want to make more money and be the person that writes the rules instead of working for somebody else, have the ability to work where you want to work. Bringing in the transaction is where it's at.
Or you might just be a killer LP3,
right?
Or loan partner, like, or LOA, like whatever terminology you subscribe to, right? You just be awesome at that. And then you got people who, like Zach or you or John Thomas, who are these amazing people at building relationships and going out and networking and bringing in business. Not everyone can be Batman. Not everyone can be Batman. We all want to, but some of us have to be Robin. So
if you're a Robin, you better find a Batman.
Right.
If you're Batman, you better find a Robin.
Right, 100%. You need the dynamic to it. So, all right. So I'm gonna wrap it up because we're at the 30-minute mark here. A couple things, that I want to look at here is, or chat about is, who was it? Manny said, how do you approach the agents? What's the pitch like? So for me, there's a couple of different ways to do this. But if I decide that I'm going back out and I'm rebuilding an origination business, I get tired of the marketing side of things and I want to go back out and do this. This is what I'm doing. And we got a really good video with Josh Berger on the replays.mlonetwork.com website. They can check out. It's probably going to take 3 approaches to this. One, I am going to go ahead and start posting in as many local Facebook groups as possible about whatever my hook is. Now, a lot of times for me, it's Maryland Mortgage Program, right? I love DPA stuff, but I want to find a way to name it, put some sizzle behind it. And I want to start posting in those groups 5 to 10 times per day. And I will tell people to message me for more information. And I'm just going to send them to my survey form. I'm not sending them to a application because with the cost of credit reports right now, right? I don't want to pull 100 credit reports until I have a better idea someone might actually qualify for it, right? So I'll do that. That's no cost. Doesn't cost me a penny to go ahead and generate that. I want to generate anywhere between 3 to 5 quote unquote long form leads every single day. Everyone asks them, are they employed? Have they filed bankruptcy? Have they, what's their self-score credit? Where are they looking? What's their interest, etc. Give about 15 pieces of data. Amazing leads, cost you $0. A little bit of effort, you can hire a virtual assistant to do that as well. 2, I am going to go ahead and Fish, we had a good call with, his name's escaping me, down in Texas. He's from Maryland, used to work for New Day.
Jonathan?
Yep.
Jonathan Farrell. Yeah.
Yep. So we had a great call with him about how he creates inbound traffic by consistently posting on his Google business profile and consistently posting and building a persona on Facebook. Again, that's a long-term strategy, but when do you want to start your long-term strategy, Fish? Today, right?
Today.
It's long-term. Every time you put it off, it goes further out.
Yep.
So I want to do that. And then finally, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take a couple days and I'm going to find about 100 agent teams in my area. And if I got to expand out a little bit, I will. But I want to find about 100 agent teams. Fish, we discussed this before. Why do I want to look for a team?
Because the team has lots of buyers agents and they're spending a lot of money marketing. And
typically you got your team lead, who's the listing agent, right?
Yep.
So I want to approach him and the listing agents, let's say they got 2 or 3 buyers agents underneath them. They've got to feed them, right? They're feeding them leads. It's expensive. It's Zillow, it's Realtor, it's Trulia, whatever it is. It's Op City. They're feeding them leads. It's costing them money. Well, I'm going to reach out to that team lead and I'll say, hey, look, I see you've had 123 Main Street that has been on the market for about 3 weeks. I'd love to do some marketing on your behalf at my expense. Kind of show you how we generate leads for our agent partners. It's going to promote your listing, get some leads to your buyers agents. Heck, you can even use it to show your seller why the home isn't selling. And because if you have that question with him, like, hey man, why do you think the home hasn't sold? Like, oh, because they still think it's summer of 2021, right? So now all of a sudden you say, look, we generated 100 leads, 100 people inquired about your house, not a single person set up a showing. We got to reduce the price to something that's a little bit more, in line with today's market, etc. But again, now you have this listing agent, you're feeding their buyer's agent's business. Going back to our conversation about Kai earlier in the day. You've got to add 50 agents. There you go. How easy of a strategy is that? Put some time, some effort in there, make some phone calls, send some messages on there. If you get a team with an average of 3 agents on a team, even if it's just the buyer's agents, right? And you got to get 50. So you're what? Get 15?
You only get a 10 or 12.
100? Yeah, get 10, 15, 20 of those.
Yep.
But again, it doesn't mean that because you're having these conversations with them that they're locked into you. That's when your weekly follow-up, your theme days, right? Your white glove service when you do get that opportunity, asking for the business. That's when all that comes into play. And that's the stuff you learn from, Scott Groves is amazing at that, right? That you build in these systems in place. But how it's so easy to get agents today. That's what I would do, right? And so those strategies right there. I'm building business for pre-approvals that I can bring in hopefully in the next week or 2 by posting the Facebook groups, right? I'm building a higher intent style lead by creating content in my Facebook, my social media, my Instagram, TikTok. If you're not 50 like Fish, TikTok, right? Your Google business profile where people are coming to you, a higher intent. Hey, Fish, I'd love to learn more about what's your program up there, Mishta, right? I'd love to learn more about your programs up there, how I can buy a house. I'd love to learn more about how to leverage my VA benefit, get whatever you want, whatever your piece is. And you're also out there prospecting agent partners by providing something of value to them in the leads. Now, the reason I talked about listing agents, again, I'm trying to wrap up here because, our outline, as usual, we go off topic. But the reason I love listing agents is because they have listings, running ads to listings produces some of the lowest cost, highest quality Instagram and Facebook leads that you can get. Lowest cost, highest quality. So I'm trying to keep my costs down on there, especially if I'm going out, I'm trying to get 15 to 20 of these guys on here. I could be looking at, you're not running 20 leads at one time, right? 20 ads at one time, but your cost per lead or your total cost could get up there as you add more agents. So that's why I'm going after listing agents, higher quality, lower cost leads. And as I said, they also have those agents underneath them that are buyer's agents that hopefully can refer those people to me. So there you go, man. There's the recipe.
If you learn how to talk about marketing, even if you haven't mastered it yet, and you're approaching these kind of agents that love to geek out on marketing, they'll always take your call. They will literally, even if they own their own mortgage company. Like I sat down with an agent, one of the best agents in Metro Detroit. And I've worked with him a long time ago. I'm working with him recently, but he loves marketing. He loves video. He loves all this kind of stuff. He's been watching me over at MLO Network, and because he's got some loan officers in there, and he's like, dude, what are you doing is incredible. So like, I'm going to meet him again, even though I don't work with him now. I've worked with him in the past, just because we both love marketing. And there's got to be an opportunity for me there. You start getting good at this stuff, you find like-minded agents that love marketing as well and love learning how to build better systems to feed their families and their teams and all this kind of stuff. So just keeping the direction down that path, because I promise you, all the other big lenders out there, all the folks that we sit here and joke about on the back end that many times eat our lunch in the call centers, they do this all day, every day. And
so remember, I always talk about, the qualities and the quantity, right? The qualities and the quantity. The more Alex, it's, replays.mlonetwork.com. I'll make sure I have that uploaded, and it's always live in the group as well. Or it's always recorded in the group. But when you talk about the big call centers, right? That is quantity. Quantity. Mm-hmm. They are driving through their television ads, the radio ads, and their internet spend people to their websites. And it's a funnel, right? They're going to high funnel and they're putting them through until it gets a low funnel. They get someone that they can work with. I don't know about you. TJ Barker doesn't necessarily have the money to compete with, Navy Federal Credit Union, Veterans United, Quicken, etc. On a national ad spend level. But what I can do is I can leverage the same concepts and apply it on a local level at a very, very low cost when you're looking for advertising. Heck, we can do it for free if you take out the agent piece of it, that third pillar right there. You're just posting Facebook groups and, building local content, posting to your Google business profile, your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok on there.
That's how you know when you're an old loan officer, when you call them Quicken Loans and not Rocket.
I'm sorry. Right.
All right.
Anyway, so that's it, man. That's all I said. But guys, listen, seriously, last thing. If you're getting hit up now, these are guys that are living in their mom's basement, right? They bought a course on how to prospect roles or loan officers. There are literally courses on how to prospect loan officers on this. Leverage MLO Net, free training, free content right here in the group. I've got a video Fisher and I did in March of 2020, April 2020 on how to generate listing ads. Just find it. Everything's pretty much the same. A few things to change. The interface may look a little different, but the concept and how you do it, 100% the same. You take everything we just said on this, implement 30, 60, 90 days. If you don't know how to build social media content, go to ChatGPT and say what you want, build yourself a calendar. You will have it right there. Implement. You will get those 50 agents. I guarantee you do it. You'll get 50 agents in the next 90 days, without a doubt. So, all right. Fish, your YouTube channel links, Michael Fisher, I think.
Yeah, I got it somewhere. I have to go find it.
So
they're in MLO Net. Most of them are tagged MLO Net Survivor Series. There's the hashtag. You can go in and search them. They're pretty easy to find. Now, TJ, if somebody wants to learn more about Leads Academy and how all that works, I know we're not here trying to pump that or sell that. We don't do that, but a lot of people ask when we do these calls, how do they reach out to you? What do they do next to talk to you one-on-one about that?
Easiest way is obviously we got join.loacceleration.com. If you want to go ahead and sign up, there's a little video right there. Best thing to do is just on one of our posts here in MLO Network, You just put something like more information, tag Brian Grove. And we'll get an appointment scheduled with you if you want to chat. Again, this isn't necessarily, we'd love to have you on this, but like I said, this is more about, again, so many people reaching out to me, so many people reaching out to you, Fish. What do you think about this lead company? What do you think about this lead company? What do you think about this lead company? Right? I think we told you what we think about them.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. You can do it yourself. You can do it with us supporting you. You can do it with VMA, but those concepts, that's what you need to do. Implement, you take action, and you will outpace all of your competition, because we know what they're doing. They're sitting around right now saying, man, this market sucks.
Mm-hmm.
This market sucks. So, all right. I appreciate you. Appreciate everyone here. Fish,
All right, guys.
we'll be back next Tuesday or Thursday. It's kind of a rotating based upon our schedules right now as we get into the spring market. We will get one a week Survivor Series out either Tuesday or Thursday. We'll obviously let everyone know.
So if you're watching, it's live in MLO Network in the group. Those videos in the group, they're there for like a month. So you should be able to jump over to MLO Network in the group. If you're watching on the webinar, it's there. You can go watch the replays right now. And I'll add it to the YouTube channel. TJ will add it to the replay page at some point later today. So
I meant to put the link in for the YouTube channel in the chat, and I just messaged you directly, Fish. So go ahead. But so I think you know where it is, right? You know where the YouTube channel is.
Yeah.
So good. Just in case you didn't, I want to make sure you had it.
I got my, but yeah. And people ask us all the time, emails, like, where are these replays? Like, we literally have them on a page, and they're in pin posts and things like that. But
yep. So, and honestly, I'm probably about 3 or 4 episodes behind, but we're working to get everything up. The rest of them, most recent ones, up on the page here by the end of the week, which is tomorrow. Again, that's replays.mlonetwork.com.
So appreciate y'all. We will
All right.
catch you next week. See you back in the MLO Network.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.